Good afternoon, everyone. This is Evangelist Kumba. God resists the proud and gives grace to the humble. God resists the proud and gives grace to the humble. James 4 verse 6 says, but he gives us more grace. Therefore it says, God opposes the proud but give grace to the humble. It means that God opposes those who are arrogant and self-reliant, but shows favor, kindness, and drive, and gives enablement to those who approach him with humility and recognizing their dependence on him. In other words, when you submit to God's divine wisdom, you will receive the necessary grace from God to put it in practice. On the other hand, those who elevate themselves will face a formidable foe. God himself will fight against their plan because they are not on his side. 1 Peter 5 verse 5 says, likewise, you younger people, submit yourself to your elders. Yes, all of you be submissive to one another and clothed with humility towards one another. For God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Proverbs 3:34 says, he mocks the scorners, but he gives grace to the meek or humble. Pride often manifests as a belief in one's own capability and refuse to acknowledge God's role in life. Humility involves recognizing one dependence on God and acknowledging his sovereignty. God actively opposes pride, hindering those who rely on themselves. God had already provided grace for all who humble themselves to him, not only to God, but humble yourself to authority, elders, people who were there for you when you need help. That grace that God has already provided are kindness, power, enablement to those who are humble. A humble heart is essential for receiving God's blessing and experiencing his favor. Arrogance, on the other hand, can lead to be overcome or hindered by God. Pride, arrogance can stop you to move forward in life. Many people are full of pride, not making progress in their life, blaming people, family for not making progress. Examine yourself. Ask the Holy Spirit to show what is hindering you for not making progress. What is pride in the Bible? Pride is destructive. It is an attitude of self-importance, arrogance, and refusal to acknowledge God's sovereignty or give him the glory of what he has done for you. You place yourself above everyone, your own affairs, do not care for no one, unwilling to change, refuse to admit to mistakes, and many more. Pride, Proverbs 16 verse 18 says, pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before fall. This verse highlights the consequence of pride, suggesting that it leads to ruin and destruction. In 2 Chronicles 26, there was a king called Uzziah. His reign was marked by success and prosperity, but his heart became proud, leading to his downfall. 2 Chronicles 26 verse 16 to 21, you can read it yourself. Uzziah was a descendant of David, not a priest. He was not allowed to burn incense on the altar. It was only for the priest to burn incense on the altar. Uzziah sinned when he exercised a priesthood privilege that was reserved for the priest. Uzziah was stopped by the priest. He became furious, having censer, a light in his hand to burn incense on the altar. He became angry with the priests, stopping him, and leprosy broke out of his forehead. before the priest. He hurried to get out of the temple because he was struck with leprosy. Now he cannot enter the temple anymore to worship and was isolated in a house for the rest of his life. His son Jotham exercised power on his behalf. This shows that many people humble themselves when they don't have nothing. But when money, fame, power is in their hands, they will turn away from God and the people who help them. How to come out of pride? Be grateful. Listen to those who cares about you. Ask for help. Admit your weakness. Serve others. And accept criticism. Develop self-awareness by reflecting on your behaviors and not taking yourself too seriously. Shift your focus from yourself and to others and God. Practice intentional acts of worship and serve. Be open to new ideas. Seek feedback. Admit your fault. Solve people's problems. Practice humility. View your weakness not as a failing, but as an opportunity for growth and connection. This is Evangelist Kumba. Thank you for listening.